Ahlan, thank you all for coming. Today we are here to recognize and condemn the fact that the apartheid state has imposed non-stop, gruesome, and brutal genocide on Gaza for 1 full year. This has been 1 full year of journalists putting their lives on the line to showcase to the world the brutality of the apartheid state's oppression. 1 full year of real beheaded babies. 1 full year of kids with amputated legs. 1 full year of mothers carrying their child's limb because it is all that they have left of them. 1 full year of fathers carrying their kids in plastic grocery bags. 1 full year of dehumanizing words being used to describe Palestinians and Arabs alike. 1 full year of protesting and resisting the apartheid government only to be met with snipers and the state police. It has been 1 full year of scrolling constantly on our feeds, seeing update after update about the new way the terrorist state has found to torture my people. 1 full year of having to scream at the top of our lungs to get people to even consider the Palestinian struggle. 1 full year of America sending billions and billions and billions of dollars, enabling the terrorist state to continue with their genocide while also having the audacity that they are doing everything they can to get a ceasefire deal. 1 full year of Palestinians being hate crimed here in America, whether that be the 3 men in Vermont who were shot at for wearing a kufiya, the 6-year-old who was stabbed 26 times by his landlord for being Muslim and Palestinian, or the 3-year-old little girl who was drowned for being Palestinian. 1 full year of anxiously waiting by the phone, hoping, praying that your loved ones in Palestine are safe and have escaped the indiscriminate bombing. 1 full year of trying to stay sane and on top of your schoolwork when your people are having their heads blown off by the one terrorist group America will openly back. 1 full year of having to act as if nothing is happening, like your country's not being wiped off the map and the whole world is watching, some with popcorn in their hands enjoying the show. It has been 1 full year of a repetition of the Holocaust being unfolded right in front of our eyes. 1 full year of the erasure of Palestine, starting with the small strip known as Gaza. Even with the indescribable, irreparable pain that the people of Palestine, specifically Gaza, have endured this past year, their resilience has shown through like none other. It has been 1 full year of journalists such as Motaz, Bisan, and Plestia documenting each and every grueling second of this genocide to show the world just what they have been complicit in for the last 75 plus years. This year has been filled with Palestinians in Gaza still finding the good out of the situation, whether that be singing their songs as a form of solidarity and resistance or looking out for one another. It has been a year of Gazans finding new ways to survive, refusing to let their deeply rooted and beautifully enriching culture to be erased from this world. It has been a year filled with disruptive protests, so much so that extreme measures had to be taken in order to keep us under control. It has been filled with boycotts that shut companies down and made the very logo of those companies shameful. It has been a year filled with movements such as the Uncommitted movement to pressure our representatives and make our presence uncomfortably known. This past year has pushed people to educate themselves on the long and grueling but resilience-filled history of Palestine. 1 year ago today, if you would have asked me what I thought would be different about Israel's attacks on Gaza, I would have said nothing. This is nothing new for Palestinians, especially in Gaza. That is why they have been so strong with their resilience, because they've had to do so for the last 75 plus years to stay alive and to stand their ground. That is why my parents have become almost numb to the suffering of our people, because they spent their entire lives keeping an eye on Palestine. However, something has changed. The rest of the world is finally keeping an eye on Palestine. We have finally started to take over the media. 1 year ago today, I wouldn't have dared to come up here and say, "Glory be to the resistance." 1 year ago today, I wouldn't have been able to even support Palestine and their resistance so openly. 1 year ago today, a lot of the people here would not even be aware of the stories us Palestinians have to tell. I remember about a year ago, on October 12th, going to the first protest in downtown Indy after the events of October 7th. I remember clearly my dad pulling my brothers and I aside because it had been our first Palestinian protest together. And he started emphasizing the fact that there had been numerous people from different walks of life to help liberate our country. He pointed out showing that there were Arabs, Americans, Muslims, Christians, and Jews alike. He reminded us that this was truly a matter of human rights, not one ethnic or religious group versus another. As he was expressing how proud he was of our nation and the fact that it brought so many people together, protesters started circling around him, truly listening to what he had to say. I remember crying that day for numerous reasons, but one of the most prevalent ones being the fact that for the first time in my entire life, I saw a spark ignite within my dad. He knew he was truly being listened to, something that we had not felt our entire lives when talking about our homeland, when talking about our people, our history, and our identity. I see every single Palestinian, whether they are directly related to me or not, as my brother and sister. They are all a part of my family. They all share the same culture, ethnicity, language, and blood as me. Each time a Palestinian is killed, that is a part of my country, my identity that is being taken away from me. Every time a Palestinian little kid is affected by this genocide, whether that means they are crushed by the rubble, their parents are taken away from them, or they are killed by the Israeli military, I see my little 5-year-old sister, Celine. Celine is the light of my life and means more than the world to me. How would I react if she had to endure the same hardships as Palestinians in Gaza? How would I be able to live if she were taken away from me the same way little kids in Gaza are taken away from their families? I feel those same personal feelings I would feel for my little sister, for all of the tens of thousands of Palestinian kids that are killed because of the ethnic cleansing Israel is imposing. That sentiment is another part of being a Palestinian in America, the guilt that comes along with it. When I hear the word Palestine, I immediately correlate it with having the utmost honor one can have. Here I was, a Palestinian with the honor of having that identity, an identity that is so closely tied to resilience, pride, and strength. But I was not undergoing nearly the same hardships as my people back home. I get a roof over my head, I get to have food, I get to have water, I get a childhood, I get peace. Yet I have the same identity as my brothers and sisters in Gaza who are currently going through a genocide. The least I can do is continue to talk about it and show my unwavering pride for my country. I realize that I have the opportunity to work hard for a future where I can truly make a difference for my country, and I need all of you to keep that mindset close to your hearts. As we spend the rest of this school year, and inshallah many school years after that, organizing for Palestine, there may be times where you may feel worn out. You may feel tired after walking for an hour or two in the blazing sun for a protest, but think about the Gazans who have to walk for who knows how many hours all around Gaza, trying to get to the designated checkpoints their oppressors have urged them to go to, running the risk of being bombed in that very same place considering the track record of the terrorist state. You may feel like your efforts are useless, like nothing is working, but think about the Gazans who feel as though they truly do not have a way out of this brutal death that may be awaiting them, that our tax dollars are funding. You may feel anxious to speak up in your classes, call out a friend who is being ignorant on the situation, or post something on your social media, but think about the rising anxiety those kids in Gaza feel, unsure if the plane they hear above them is going to bomb their tent or the one next to them. You may feel overwhelmed by the graphic videos of the completely detonated, unidentifiable bodies of Palestinians in Gaza. But remember that they are living through those videos every single second of every single day. Obviously, don't overwork yourself. However, keep your privilege and how that relates to Gaza in the back of your mind always. It helps keep you grounded. It helps to put the suffering of Gaza in perspective. And most importantly, it reminds you of our mission and why it is essential for you to do your part. Lastly, but most importantly, continue to listen to the Palestinians. Our voices and stories have been silenced for far too long. It is our turn to speak and expose Israel for the harm they have been inflicting on my people for almost a century. Stop turning a blind eye to these atrocities and getting used to the genocide, because once you do, the lives lost turn into just numbers on a screen, and you lose compassion for humans who are just like you. Call for a ceasefire and for the complete liberation of Palestine, and do not stop until that is achieved. Liberation of Palestine not only means that the land is returned to the rightful owners, but that people of every religion can live in peace and as equals. And this was exactly the case before Israel started their occupation. The Free Palestine movement also extends to saving and freeing the other Arab countries who have suffered at the hands of the cancerous occupation. It means free Yemen, free Syria, free Lebanon, and free the world from settler colonialism, white supremacy, and occupation in the name of terrorism. Do not stop until this is achieved, until we can say from the river to the sea, Palestine is free. Woo!